Hey there Facebook, it's Vanessa here again, motivational speaker and head coach at Live, Love, Give, and I'm excited and I'm kind of really juiced about the message that I have to share with you guys today, because it's something that I'm really thinking into a lot at the moment, and it's all about real love. And you guys who've been listening to me know that I've been reading this phenomenal book by Robert Holden, Lovability, an incredible book. And it means that each and every night I've been reading parts of this book, and it's been keeping my mindset focused on what real love is. And the message I want to bring with you guys to you guys today is that true love is never ever experienced in the sacrifice of who you really are, in the truth of who you are. And it is a lesson that the universe has been trying to deliver to me so many times, probably in every single one of the relationships that I've experienced. And you know, I'm just starting to get that message now. I'm just starting to wake up to what that is now. And what I've come to believe is that love is equal to freedom. And if you don't have freedom in your loving relationships, then it's not love. And I hate to break that news to many of you out there, but you're being selfish with the rules that you have in your relationships. And my message today, I have an intention to help you to look at your current relationships and how you're showing up and how, you know, you're co-creating that relationship. And I want you to stop settling. It breaks my heart every time I walk down the street and I see a couple screaming at each other, treating each other with total disrespect. You know, why is it that we treat the people that are supposed to be the loves of our life, those incredible partners in our life, you know, why is it that we treat them the worst? And I'm sick of seeing it, and I'm sick of seeing how many people are heartbroken because they're settling in their relationships. And the reason why is because they're settling for a mediocre relationship with themselves. And I just want to take a moment to say thanks to Rian and Eric and Stephanie and Michael. Awesome to have you guys here. Thank you so much for joining me. Whenever I see you guys pop up, I just get energized. So thank you. And you know, this message today about love and what real love is that, you know, it's never at the sacrifice of who you are at your core. And so many of us are looking for that external validation from the external world, from those people in our lives, from that special partner, in order for us to feel worthy of love. So we are looking to them to tell us that, hey, you're lovable, you're all right. If you follow my rules, I'll give you love. And what's happening is that all of our relationships are ending up in this give and take horrible situation where we're withholding from one another, we're treating each other poorly, we are just, you know, waiting for the other person to go first, and we're holding back our love because at the end of the day we don't think that we're lovable, and we end up making other people feel like that as well. And awesome to have you here. Andy, thanks for coming back. And Sanula, thank you. And Wheels on Mick, awesome. Yes, love can only come from within. So yeah, great comment there. I'm going to call you Mick. I hope that's your name. And you know, that's such a great comment, that love comes from within. And when we get that message, when we understand that nobody is going to be able to fill up that void that only we can truly fill up from within, from ourselves. And there's a really great analogy that I love from Lisa Nichols, which is that it's like the cup and saucer analogy. And what that is that imagine yourself as that cup and you're sitting on top of a saucer. That saucer is the other people, your loved ones. And unless your cup is overflowing and filled to the brim, it doesn't have the energy or the power to spill over and give that love to others in your life. And good morning from Sweden. Who are you? Thanks, Joanna. Awesome to have you. And Sarah, awesome to have you. And Anne, I'm so grateful that you're here again. I love that you're getting value from these messages. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your experience with love, and I want to hear your thoughts about what my true belief is that unless there is freedom in a relationship. And when I talk about freedom, I'm talking about being all of who you are. being accepted for who you are, not only being shown love because you follow another person's set of rules or you make them happy, you're meeting up to their expectations, not at the expense of your own truth, because guaranteed, and I know we've all got best intentions when we enter into a relationship like that. We haven't learnt the lesson yet. We just want to love and be loved. That is on the deepest level what we're all here to do at the end of the day. And we have best intentions. We want to fill these people up. We want them to love us, and we want them to make us feel worthy of love, like how special we are that this incredible human being loves us, you know. But at the end of the day, if you're not being all of who you are because you're too scared that that person won't love and accept you for those parts of yourself, then at the end of the day, you end up in a relationship where that person loves your lies. They love those certain parts of you that you're willing to show because you deem them worthy to, as a perception from that other person. And you're not actually giving them the opportunity to love you for who you are. And therefore, you're reinforcing that belief that you're carrying around that you're not worthy of love if you show who you really are. And just checking in here, Eric, what are you saying to me here? Before you find love, you better start to love yourself first, right? After everything follows. Yes. Exactly, but you know, sometimes we're co-creating that journey. So I don't believe in, you know, oh, I have to get to this perfect point in my life until, you know, before I can enter into a relationship, because that's fear talking. We all want to experience and share and expand our emotions with another human being. And I really believe that if you can find a partner who is on this growth path, if you're somebody, I know if you're listening to this video, you are somebody who loves their self-development. And if you find another partner who is willing to align with you, to grow with you, is willing to walk that path of evolution with you, then, you know, that is the ideal. Because, you know, when we're by ourselves, it's almost easier at times because we don't have somebody reflecting back to us our own issues. We don't have somebody there triggering up all of those underlying, you know, subconscious sort of limiting beliefs and fears that we have. So if you can find an incredible partner to share that experience and that journey with, and you're both committed to your growth, wow, now that is where your growth explodes. And if you can create a partnership where you are both committed to both supporting, encouraging, and challenging the best parts of each of who you are, then you, my friend, are on the journey of a lifetime. But my message today is really to stop settling for anything less than that. And I mean it. I'm so juiced about this topic. You know, I've been there too many times myself where I haven't got this, and I'm seeing it too many times with people in my life who I love, and who all I want is I want them to live to their fullest potentials, to their highest potentials. I don't want them to sacrifice themselves anymore. I want them to step up. I want them to own who they are. I want them to, you know, encourage the people that they love, who they want to be in relationship with, to step up and to create a level of relationship where we are both committed wholly to our own personal growth and to supporting, encouraging, and challenging that other person to be their best selves and not being threatened, not trying to control. I'm sick of seeing the control factor in relationships, and I'm sick of seeing those people who are getting controlled allow and enable that kind of behavior. Enough is enough, and it's time to own where you are and decide that you are worthy of more, and that you've got a whole lot of potential in life and in love to live up to, and you're committed to that journey no matter how scary it is. And yeah, just want to read these comments. Thank you so much, Elf. It's such a pleasure to have you in my life. I appreciate our connection. And Mick, I was in an abusive relation, 12 months single now, and very happy. Awesome. I really want to honor your journey, Mick, because I'm a huge believer in having that time to yourself to be single. Particularly if you've been in, like you're saying, an abusive relationship, or one where you've just lost yourself. Maybe you've come to a point where you've been in a pretty codependent relationship, totally relying on that person. I've been there before. I've gotten to a point in a past relationship many years ago where I didn't even want to leave the house without my partner. Now that is a painful, scary place to be, but particularly when you are in it, you know, and you don't have the power to reflect on what's happening and you don't know how to change it. It's a painful place to be, and guaranteed one of the best experiences I had in my life was building the courage when the pain got too much in that relationship, having the courage to break free of it. Didn't know what I was going to do, and I was very dependent on this person, but I built up and generated that courage in that moment to break it off, and I made sure that I had some single time in my life, and honestly, it's the best thing that I've ever done for myself. I focused on me, I focused on my personal growth, I focused on uncovering who I really am, what I really want, and not filtering that through any other person. So I honor that, Mick, and thank you for sharing. And Sanula, love always originates from core of heart without any condition. Beautiful, beautiful point that you've made there, and that brings up another point that I wanted to make to you guys today, which is conditional love is selfish. Conditional love is you being so subjective about your own experience, about what you're getting or what you're not getting, and you're building up these rules, these conditions for another person to meet so that you can feel lovable. And that kind of relationship stunts your growth. It stunts both of your growth if you end up settling for that kind of relationship and you don't break free. And we've all had relationships like that. Some of us are in those relationships, if we're honest, you know, and we need to build some consciousness around that and recognize that if you're in a conditional relationship where you're just giving to get and you've got so many rules and conditions and you're controlling or you're being controlled, whatever it is, that, my friend, is not love. And my wish is for each and every one of you out there to really experience true love, that true feeling. And you've probably had glimpses of it. You've probably had those moments of it where you did feel deeply connected to another human being. You did feel deeply as though you cared about them. You got outside of yourself and you saw them. And in Robert Holden's book, I think it was last night I was reading, and I can't remember the direct quote, but it was something like, real true love is when one soul sees the soul of another. It's that connection to our real truth, you know, behind the external, behind all the rules, the conditions. It's loving no matter what that human being. And yeah, so I think I've got some more comments here. Oh, thanks. Words of love, thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad that this is valuable to you. Awesome to see you, Manu. And Fazia, thank you so much. True love does not exist nowadays. Well, all right, Fazia. Do not agree with that one. I love you, but if you have that kind of belief that true love does not exist, you'll never find it, ever. Even if true love comes in front of you, if you have the belief that it does not exist, you'll discount it. You won't see it for what it is. You'll see it as a lie. You won't be able to accept and take in that. And so, yeah, I challenge you on that belief that true love does not exist. I do agree that most of our relationships in society, they're not operating for the majority of time in true love. They're operating in highly conditional love. And so I do agree with that, but it does exist and you can generate it at any moment should you choose to step into your courage and commit to it. And stop holding yourself back, you know, stop settling is my real message today. And yes, agree with you, Mick. It does. It definitely does exist. And thank you so much for joining, Hyongul. Lovely to have you here. And guys, drop any of your questions about love, whatever you want to talk about here. I'm here to answer some questions, interact with you guys. And I do have a question that Yesterday's Facebook Live was just, I was answering too many of those questions. It got really long. So every single day I do these messages, they get longer and longer. So I hope it's still valuable to you guys. I don't want to go on and on and on, but you know, it's easy for me to do that. And yes, Mick, you need to manifest the positive, manifest your life. Definitely. And you know, when we take ownership of our state, our emotional states, then that is when we have the power to create everything and manifest what we want. And if that's true love, then you're the one in the driver's seat. Stop looking to other people to show you the way, to lead that way. You've got to make that committed decision to do it, and you've got to go first. So I love that. And Eric, Vanessa, do you think I should believe in love from a distance by internet? Wish I could talk in private. Yes, okay. Eric, love to chat to you in private about that. But, you know, in terms of, you know, having love in distance, you know, love is not locational. Love is within. Love is an energy. Love is what we choose, you know, and I don't believe that you have to be in proximity to a person, to anything, in order to feel that sense of love and generate that true love. But yeah, we can chat about that in private for sure. You can just send me a message, and or we could get on a call, whatever you like there, and we'll have a chat about that for sure. What you think you become. I love that, Mick. Definitely. One of my absolute favorite quotes is from Henry Ford, which is, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I think that it's so true. Actually, just earlier, my mum made a comment, and I forget totally what it was, but it was just that same thing, and I challenged her on it, and I said, you know, if that's what you think, it was something about her not being good about something, you know, and I said, well, you'll never be good at it if that's what your belief is. And it's so true. So I challenge you to question those beliefs as well. Thank you, Mick. And Sanala, love is not a thing to search, it's a spirit or feeling which is within human, even individuals. Okay, yes, definitely it is something that is within you to generate, and I love that. And it's a quote from the Buddha. Awesome, Mick, thanks for sharing. Awesome. So I have this question that I didn't quite get to, and I did promise that I would get to, and that was from Lisa a couple of days ago on Facebook, and I'll just get to your question in just a sec. Thank you so much for sending that through. Lisa was asking if she was saying that, what if my partner will not go to counselling? He won't listen and he's discounting my feelings. And what I wanted to say to this point, because so many couples, it tends to be the woman who reaches out for the assistance in relationship, because as a general rule, as a massive generalization, it's women who tend to see things worse than they are in our relationships, and it's men who tend to see things better than they are in our relationships. And it's why so many women seem to be trying to make these changes in their relationship, and then they get to a point of no return where it's too painful, they don't trust that things are going to change, and they end up breaking up the relationship, and the men are left speechless because they had no idea, they didn't see it coming. And that's where it sort of comes from, that, you know, when women generally are more they're more open to seeking guidance and advice, and men tend to want to be that leader, you know, they want to have the answers, they want to be the person with the strength, and it's such a beautiful quality of masculinity, but at times it stops and prevents that man from stepping into having the courage to ask for help when he needs it. It means something about him. Sometimes they make it mean something about who they are. And you know, what I would say to you, Lisa, is it's a really challenging circumstance when you want to seek help and guidance, but your partner doesn't want to. But what I would say to you is that you need to be the leader in your relationship. Okay? So I've done it myself in a past relationship, and you know, ultimately I grew, and ultimately that partner of mine, they decided not to. It wasn't their path. And you know, you've got to be in a position in relationship. You've got to be so committed to living to your potential in love and in life that you are willing to walk away should you no longer be aligned with that person. Should you be willing to grow and do whatever it takes, but that person is not willing to meet you on that journey. And it's a hard decision to make, but I challenge you to have that strength and not rely on your partner to move forward, and instead take ownership, be the leader, show them the way. And if they're the right person for you, they will see this. Have love, have compassion, encourage them on that journey, but don't expect them and put those conditions on them, because that's not love. You can only inspire through your courage and your action. So I really hope that that's been helpful to you, Lisa, whenever you get a chance to watch this, and to you guys out there listening as well. Thanks for joining, Carla, and thanks, Anne. I'm glad that that was useful to you as well. And you're asking me, should there be absolutely no conditions or expectations? If you do have some, is it not true love? Okay, awesome question. I'm so grateful that you asked this one, Anne. I actually had a beautiful question and message from a lovely woman from Thailand today, and she was sort of asking me about this based on my posts that I put out on Facebook today. And what I would say to you guys out there is that, and Anne for asking that question, is that I really believe that we need to have healthy boundaries that can only be generated from a loving, compassionate, and self-accepting relationship that you have with you. Okay? So when I talk about conditions and expectations, what I'm referring to is jeopardizing the truth of that individual, that asking them to sacrifice who they really are based on your conditions being met that prove to you that you're lovable because you can't generate that yourself. I hope that makes sense. So what I mean is that I believe that we need to have a loving relationship with ourselves, and we need to give the person that we're in relationship with full freedom and encouragement to be all of who they are and accept that. And that is no easy task, particularly when we don't fully accept ourselves. So the work needs to be done on the relationship with self. And then what I would say, you should never accept poor behavior in any relationship. You can always question behavior, but what you've got to do if you want a long-lasting relationship is you've got to be able to trust a person's intent. Now, what I mean about that is you've got to get to a point in relationship where you are on a growth journey with this person, and when they behave poorly, you can definitely question that. Have boundaries. Never accept poor treatment. But where the conditions, and that's where the conditions come in, they're those healthy boundaries that if you have a loving relationship with yourself, you will not settle for anything other than that, and that is love. Because if you enable poor behavior and poor treatment of yourself, you're going against love. Okay, so definitely I hope that that has helped for you, Anne, and thank you so much for joining, Michael and Laura. It's awesome to have you guys here. If you have any more questions or comments, I'd love to help you. Did that help, Anne? Did I answer that question, or did I ramble a little bit for you? But you know, let me know. But yeah, so today's message was really all about making sure that you are working towards having true love. Understood what you're saying. Great, Anne. Let me know if you have another following up question with that at all. If it did really hit you and it was resonating with you, and I cleared something up for you, I'd love to clear that up if it hasn't. And Hassani, awesome to have you here. Grateful that this is valuable to you. I love having you guys here. And yeah, ultimately, Mian, thank you so much for joining. Great to have you here. And yeah, ultimately, my message for you, thanks, Laura. That's great. So good to see you here. And yeah, my message to you guys really is I want you to look honestly at your relationships. I want you to make a commitment to experiencing and growing towards living true love, which is unconditional, true love, which is freedom to be all of who you are and not settling for anything less. And just to say to you, you know, I went through so many of my connections in intimate relationship or in friendship where I was always waiting to feel safe. I was always waiting for that person to make me feel safe enough to be all of who I am, to express all of who I am. And what a lesson that I've learned recently, very recently, has been that only I have control over me stepping fully into being all of who I am. And I have reached a point in my life where I will no longer settle for any relationship that is less than me knowing that, stepping fully into who I am and wanting and encouraging and challenging that other person to step fully into all of who they are without my insecurities or triggers or whatever jeopardizing their growth, and vice versa. And that is true love. That is, that encouragement of stepping up and growing. And I really believe that it's our intimate relationships that are our greatest source of pain and our greatest source of pleasure, and they are there to magnify our human experience. And when we come at it with a commitment to real love, to breaking through our fears, to growing together, to staying in alignment, not ever holding each other back, and in fact encouraging, supporting, believing in each other, that is where we enter a real, fulfilling, truthful, authentic, and totally awesome relationship. I hope that resonates with you guys out there. Mohinder, nice to have you. And Japeth, thank you for joining. Ruben, though I'm single, I have to focus on myself, and I love your message and don't settle. Yes, thank you so much, Ruben. I love that you get this. I love that this is powerful to you. I salute you on that path of being single and working on yourself. Don't waste this time. The more focus that you can put on that relationship with yourself, whether you're in a relationship or you're not, that is the foundation for being successful and fulfilled and truthful in every other area of your life. Your relationships will be much more successful. Your business life is going to be much more successful. Your finances are going to be way better. And, you're going to really, shed that emotional weight. You are going to step into a healthier version of yourself as well. So I love that. And grateful that message resonated with you, and awesome to have you here, David. Thank you for joining. Guys, hit me with any last sort of questions, comments, anything that you want me to talk about. I'm happy to answer them for you guys. And I really hope that today's message has been valuable to you. It's something that is truly on top of my mind. I really get juiced about this. It drives me. My absolute drive is helping people not only create extraordinary quality of relationship with themselves, but ultimately do that. And then once you can do that, you can bring another human being into the equation, and you can fully have compassion, understanding for another person, and create not only great, extraordinary partnerships, but also teams. Life is about relationships, connections, and no matter whether that's intimate, friendship, family, business relationships, whatever it is, or any of those connections, it's all about understanding our differences and our similarities and loving both and not being threatened by either of those. So awesome to have you here, Muritesh. Thanks for joining. And guys, if there's no more questions or comments, like I said, I'm just truly grateful to have you guys here. I really hope, got another one, awesome. And here's another one. What if you are focused on self-development and in a relationship with someone that 100% supports and deeply loves you, yet they don't participate that growth themselves? I love having you on here, Anne, because you just ask these phenomenal questions, and that is just such an awesome one, which I've worked with so many couples who one of the partners is totally into their self-development, and they're really hating life because their perception of their partner is they're not growing. Like, they're wasting their life. I'm growing in all these awesome ways and they're not following up and they're not doing it, right? And what I have to say to you is that every single one of us has different forms of growth. You know, so many of us in personal development, we start putting ourselves on these pedestals because we feel like, oh, we're into personal development, we're growing, and all these people, you know, what are they doing with their lives? And ultimately, we all have different ways of growing. So I'll explain a couple that I met that I was doing some coaching with not too long ago. Beautiful couple, greatest intentions, wanted to create an extraordinary relationship together, but they had this challenge where the woman was into her personal growth and she had this challenge of just like sort of judging her partner because he's not stepping up, he's not growing, he's not into the same stuff that I'm into. And what we discovered over that journey was that he was growing in totally different ways. He was growing in his physicality. So she was growing her mindset. So that is what we call, you know, really that emotional intelligence, or EQ. And he was growing his physical intelligence, or what we call your PQ. And we all have these different versions of development for ourselves. And when we choose to recognize that, and I love, Anne, that your partner 100% supports you. He is not challenged or threatened by your personal growth and what you're into. That's extraordinary. And that, to me, is awesome. You just need to, if it is a sticking point where you feel like you're growing, your partner's not growing, sit down. I challenge you to identify in what different ways you each grow, and stop projecting, you know, your own version of growth, you know, onto the other person and expecting them to show up that way. So again, I hope that that was in some way valuable to you, Anne. And yeah, is there a challenge there? It sounds like, you know, you've got that support and you can move forward. But what I will say is that if you can grow together in your making sure that you're in alignment with one another, because sometimes with our growth, we can go in different directions, you know, and instead of making sure that we're at least heading in that same direction, sometimes our personal growth journey, no matter what area that is, can make us divert. And ultimately, if you lose alignment with your partner and you choose not to get it back, you're going to either go your separate ways physically or at least emotionally. So I hope that that was awesome. Yes, I love your point of view and answers. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate your questions. They're awesome. So thank you, Anne, again. And awesome to have you here, Rani, and great Jack. Don't know what you're talking about there, but yeah, thank you. And I would love to say amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, my battery is gonna die. I didn't have a charge, but I've appreciated you so much being here, and I really hope that today's message, all about, you know, real true love is never experienced at the sacrifice of your truth and your true self. And I want you to stop settling in your relationships. I want you to believe in real love and experiencing that. No, you know, I really want you to think about love being freedom. And if you don't feel free to be all of who you are in your relationship, I challenge you to either step up in that relationship and own that, or step out if it's not going to be feasible for you to be all of who you are, and it's limiting your growth and your potential. So thank you so much, everybody who's joined me today. I appreciate you all so much. I love having you here. I love that I get to share these messages with you and interact with you guys, answer any questions that you have. I love working on the fly. So yeah, next time, you know, I'm here every single day, so I appreciate if you bring your questions to me, or if you don't know what I'm going to roll, shoot me a question. I'll answer it on the next Facebook Live for you. And yes, thank you so much, and you too. I appreciate you as well. Hope to see you again next time. And guys, oh, awesome, Andrea. Yeah, step up or step out. Yeah, I love that. It's powerful. And I mean it. You know, just stop settling. You are worth so much more than being in a relationship that is dulling you down. So step up with courage, own it, empower yourself. know that, you know, don't blame others. Blame serves no purpose. Take ownership, empower yourself to know that you are in full control of whether you step up and be all of who you are, or you step out and you start working on that relationship with self. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Ruben. And I love you all so much, and I can't wait to see you guys all tomorrow. So sending you all so much love, light, gratitude, and best wishes and courage to really own your truth, uncover who you really are, what you really want, step fully into it and move forward. And if you want any guidance, if you want some encouragement, if you want to be able to get that fresh perspective and break through your roadblocks that you're experiencing right now, then I encourage you to take me up on one of my 15-minute power sessions, and where we jump on a Skype call. You hit me with your biggest challenge, and I work with you personally to help you see that fresh perspective, break through, and start moving in that true direction that you're meant to be on, with clarity and progression. So awesome. See you tomorrow, Sunala. Thank you so much. And love, light, blessings, gratitude all the way to you wherever you are in the world. Love you guys so much. Thank you.